Right, good morning everyone. As you can see, it's a storm going through, so we've got torrential rain and the wind's bad and all the rest of it. And you know, we get a lot of questions and a lot of people talk about with boots is about being waterproof. So we'll just have a little talk about that because, you know, I don't know if it's a misconception or people think that something is 100% waterproof, but they're not. You know, nothing is 100% waterproof, especially with boots. They can do membranes, you know, you can buy full grain leather, you can do all these sort of things to try and prevent water ingress, but you know, at the end of the day it can be very, very difficult. So I don't know, we should talk about that, and just to give you an idea, because you know, there are lots of things that you can do to make it you know, better for you. If you're just saying you're going up on the moors or you're going up on the dales or you're going somewhere where you know it's going to be wet underfoot, or it's going to be raining and you're going to have, you know, I don't know, crossing through you know, puddles of water or streams or one thing and another. So there's things that you can do to try and make your life easier and to try and stop water from getting in. And of course some boots are better than others. Some boots have waterproof membranes, whether it's, you know, Gore-Tex, Simtex or anything like that, which will obviously help you. So let's go this way and we'll have a quick look at some boots. Hopefully Troy won't reverse into one of the stands. So if we just, I mean, we get quite a few questions about this and people are saying, you know, I want a boot that's 100% waterproof. It's very, very difficult because your feet need to breathe. And if you put your feet into 2 carrier bags and tie them up, you know, and you start walking, you're going to get moisture in there, and then that moisture is not going to be able to get out. So you need to have some breathability, else your feet are just going to be in puddles or going to be in water. Then you're going to get cold and, you know, you're going to have all the problems there. So that defeats the object slightly. So you need to have some heat transfer from inside to outside. And of course with leather, with full grain leather, that is, obviously that's probably the best thing. So if I just pick up, I don't know, if we just pick up a full grain leather boot, so, you know, I don't know whether it's 2.4 mil, whatever it is, you know, it's going to be very difficult for water to get in there. I'm not saying it isn't going to get in there, but it's going to be difficult for water to get in there because it's full grain leather. It's like a single piece of leather, you know, so it's a lot harder for water to get through there. So, you know, we've got lots and lots of customers that will go, you know, wherever, and they'll go through streams, puddles, whatever, and they will not ever get water through these. But I just can't turn around and say it's 100% waterproof, because you just can't do that. You know, and I know people, you know, some of the manufacturers put on some of their stuff, you know, waterproof and all this sort of stuff, but it's very, very difficult, you know, to do that. So that there, a full grain leather boot is obviously would be a very, very good choice. Then you could have a waterproof membrane in there as well. Now some membranes are like a boot, so you put your foot and it's actually you know, the membrane goes all the way around, so on your foot, you know, so it's like you're putting your foot into a boot as well. So that's obviously good. Some of the membranes, and you have to check, you know, will only come down to sort of just underneath the boot. So what happens if water goes down through and comes up from the base? You know, that's a problem. So you've got to check out these things. And obviously if you see a boot that's like, I don't know, in a retail shop and it's 30 quid and it says it's waterproof, then you've got to understand that with that kind of money, you know, the limitations that the materials and the quality of that boot is. So it's not going to happen so easily with something like that. So that would be my first choice if you're going to do that, is look for a full grain leather boot. Then obviously look for membranes and things like that. And obviously, you know, if water hits your leg or hits your trousers and goes down inside the boot, there's not a lot you can do about that. So, you know, that's one of them things you've got to try. And obviously if you've got over trousers on, you just got to be, you know, a little bit careful than that. And I can tell you a funny story about that actually in a minute. So if we pick, say, a fabric boot, something like this, I mean, I know this one's got a Gore-Tex membrane, but just say that didn't have a Gore-Tex membrane. Let's say a running shoe like that, make it easier. Now, you know, water's going to get in all over the place, so you don't expect something like that to be waterproof, because obviously you're going to get water in through there and all over the place. So there we go. Let's just choose. Now again, I'll check one of the fabric boots up here. Let's pick one of the fabric ones. Okay, so if you've got a fabric boot, with a Gore-Tex membrane. Obviously you've got the Gore-Tex membrane or the Simtex or whatever membrane, that's going to help, but this is also still fabric. So you've just got to think about that. You know, is it going to be, or is it going to give you the kind of protection that you want? Sometimes yes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. And I always say again, you know, you've got to think about these things. So, you know, a boot that's made of fabric, I mean, this one is a Handbag Banks boot, and it's a very, very good boot. It's been very popular, won loads of awards for all kinds of things. But would I wear this boot up on, I don't know, up on the moors in torrential rain and, you know, all kinds of bad conditions? Probably not. I'll go for full grain leather. So it's just something that you need to be aware of. Now, the funny thing was, we once sold a pair of desert boots to a customer, and they come back, so I'll show you in a minute. So it's a pair of desert boots, you know, it could be, these are just the Altberg desert boots, and they said, I've got water in these boots, you know, water leaking in. And I said, well, yeah, because it's a desert boot, it's designed for hot weather. Oh, well, I thought you wouldn't let the water in. Well, you've got Cadora, you know, so you've got to think about these things as well. So with jungle boots and with desert boots, you know, they're designed for hot climates, so you're not going to get the protection in the rain from that. Obviously you're going to get some protection if it's just a little bit of light rain, it'll probably be okay, but that's something that you've got to think about. So there are other things you can think about is that some people go for like waterproof socks as well. So I'll just show you over here a minute. You know, you can get things like, I mean, these are just particularly, these ones are the sealskin ones, okay? So you get sealskin socks, so you can get sort of different varying leg lengths and one thing or another. Now, that, you know, I'll tell you the story. So I goes out mountain biking, and I thought, yes, I've got these sealskin socks, put sealskin socks on, got my shorts on. So I go out, it starts actually hammering it down with rain. What happens? Water drips onto my leg, goes down my leg into the sock. What have I got? It's like 2 buckets of water on the end of my feet, because, you know, water was just running down. So they can put seals around the top and all this sort of stuff, but, you know, it's still not great. So that, it didn't matter, did it? So I got waterproof socks on, and it was worse for me than if I'd worn normal socks, because my feet were literally in puddles of water. So probably there's some of you that have had this problem before, and obviously that's not right. Now there's going to be lots of people that are going to go, well, I do this and I do that, and that's great, that's fantastic. Everybody's different and everybody's got what works, but I just want you to think about it. If you're thinking about buying a boot for somewhere that's gonna, you know, you're gonna be sort of have torrential rain, or you're gonna have lots of areas where you're gonna be walking through puddles of water, then I just want you to think about it. You know, do you go for full grain leather? Do you go for a fabric boot? You know, do you go for a waterproof membrane or a non-membrane? You know, there's these sort of things to consider, and that's something which, you know, before you go out and spend X amount of money, it'd be great for you to have a think about it before you do. So me personally, I prefer to wear full grain leather, and sometimes not with a membrane, because what I want, if you've got a membrane boot, then it is going to take a little bit longer to dry out. So if you did get wet and your foot, I don't know, you could be walking through streams and water goes down through the top. If water does get in that, it is going to take a little bit longer for that to dry out. So me personally, I prefer to wear just a full grain leather boot with a non-membrane, because then it has the ability to dry out quicker than a membrane boot. Now if you're not wearing the boots for, you know, for a week or so, then that's fine, not a problem, because you can take that time, you know, to let your boots dry. But some people, especially the guys in the military, they need their boots every day. So sometimes that's something that you've got to consider about drying boots out. And we spoke about this probably in other videos about trying to fast dry your boots on radiators and things like that, about cracking the leather. And, you know, you've got to be very, very careful, because you can cause some issues with leather if you're going to try fast drying. So that's something else to consider, you know, about drying. So look, I hope that helps. Maybe it's given you more questions than answers, I don't know, but you know, it's certainly something to think about before you go and buy boots. So anyway, hope that helps a little bit, And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting our channel. And if there's anything that you want me to do a little video of, or you think, then yeah, just pop it down and we'll have a little look for you. So see you later, we'll catch you later, and stay safe out there. Bye bye.